one of these two.
Okay.
What is your vision for Sunnyvale in the next 5 years?
I want to see a Sunnyvale where people are happier to live there 5 years from now than they are today. And right now, I think most residents would tell you we're headed in the wrong direction because of traffic. Right? The building that's gone on is making everybody's quality of life worse. And the number one thing I said I want to work on is improving quality of life. That to me means tackling the traffic problem. It's going to be painful, it's going to be a challenge, but I think 5 years from now we could make significant progress on how we get people around, right? Whether it's electric bikes, whether it's pod cars, whether it's self-driving cars, whether it's shuttle buses, Marguerite buses, Uber lifts, VTA having dozens of small shuttle buses. I think that that's where we need to be figuring out is, right now Sunnyvale doesn't even have a transportation committee, right? We completely outsource our transportation needs to VTA. We've got to bring that in-house and we've got to figure out how we're going to get there. So that's part of that. I really want to expand the Safe Routes to School program like I mentioned earlier. Having 400 parents drive to the front of their school every day is nuts, right? In the old days, we had school buses that took people up, picked people up, and took them there. Now what we need to go is go to the next generation where we have clear and safe routes to school for walking and biking, right? So I want every kid to be able to walk and bike to the local school without having to be driven by their parents. That's just insane to me. We need to fix the affordable housing problem. So the question is how are we going to do that? If we're not going to do rent stabilization, how else are we going to be able to provide places for people to live and work in Sunnyvale without having to commute, like some people I know, from 2 hours from Antigua every day and then home again because they're for their coffee job, right? It's just insane what people are doing to get here. We have the worst mega commutes in the entire nation. We're going to have to build more open space. So fortunately, we're taking a lot of money into our park dedication fees. I think we'll be able to buy more park space to create more parks, and hopefully we'll clean up our air and cleaner energy.
Yes, thank you. First of all, the best thing would be to see the downtown complete. So as I talked earlier, it's like having a cinema, having retail, having more people living downtown. That's what we want. It was hard to see it basically die in 1998, 1999, and ultimately it's the heart and soul of the city. So seeing that move forward in the next 5 years will be critical at the end of the day. Stevens Creek Trail, it's like finishing that at least all the way to Fremont. Not only provides safe trails for bicyclists, for pedestrians, but opens up 22 acres of parkland that is sitting there waiting for people to go to it. And that in itself is basically an urban forest, or it's a forest right next to 85 that nobody can get to. So there's opportunities to basically improve the city. It's like from a traffic standpoint, I'm hoping that the shuttle service that is a 2-year trial program will extend throughout the city in 5 years. And all this is a private-public partnership. Having the companies pay their way in order to make the city a better place. It's like as much as citizens complain about the developments that are here, it's important that they're part of this community and they're paying for some of the services of the city. So that in itself, making that partnership work is a critical thing. So from my overall vision, I'm hoping that we'll reduce traffic in the long run, look at alternative transportation, and finishing the downtown, improving the general fund and the money and the sales tax going into it, will then be able to increase the services overall throughout the city, as well as making it better for all the citizens. Thank you.
So yes, in the next 5 years, we need to get downtown finished. We need to be able to get to it with maybe a 10-minute walk to some type of public transportation from a wide range of areas of the city. We should be able to get to the library, to Balin's. We should be able to get to all the major parks, the swimming pools, all of that. And I think that a key vision would be to really evaluate from every area of the city how feasible is it to be able to walk 10 minutes, 15 minutes, to be able to get onto some type of public transportation to get somewhere. Or secondarily, being able to ride a bike without being edged out by heavy traffic on Fair Oaks or other large streets, right? We should really be rating the whole city by, in detail, by how walkable it is, how easily we can ride bikes, how easily we can get effective transportation during what hours, so that we can actually get to downtown amenities, to get to the city services, to get to shopping, et cetera. And at the same time, be able to commute to jobs within the city, nearby cities, further away. All of that should be much more comfortable than it is now, right? We're very disjoint. We have these big, huge islands in the city that are extremely isolated, and that really prevents us from using the city a lot, right? Going downtown for a lot of people is got a pretty big negative because you have to find parking, you have to deal with all of that, and it's just really too bad because the city is really wonderful in a lot of ways, and there's just some of these gaps that we need to fill in. On top of that, the housing, really, we ought to have more and more reasonable housing, right? When developers decided to build a complex, perhaps making it more dense, making it higher, something like that, and they maybe make a little bit more money, but we end up with a lot more reasonable housing is the way to go.